just really hard every single day to try not to think about where my son is at.
I mean, my mom was there when I had him. It's really tough on her. That's her baby. My baby, but it's her baby too.
Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about?
What's good, guys? Welcome back to day 12. Today we are going to be talking about 16-year-old Enrique Rios and 17-year-old Elijah Moore, both from the California area, and they went missing in October of 2016. Now, their story is really sad, y'all, and I know I say that a lot, but it's just like you think you've seen it all until you start reading other cases, and then you're like, this is just heart-wrenching, a mother's worst nightmare. So as I do with all my other as I do with any of my cases, I research the individual's name just to make sure they have been found, or maybe there just was a, you know, they ran away type of situation, but they end up back home, or maybe they were unfaithfully killed. And this is what has happened to Enrique and Elijah. And their story really struck me as I began to read the details. And I said, you know, I really want to touch on their story on my channel because they are really young, 16 and 17 years of age. Their story includes 4 suspects. You have 27-year-old David Frost, 21-year-old Jonathan Frost, who is the brother of David. Then you have 21-year-old Shandell Shannon, and then 18-year-old Jesus Campos, all from the California area. Now, it took 2 years for these individuals to be caught, and as I was doing my research, I was like, this is just crazy. And how it began, it just makes you say, was it worth it? So Jonathan strikes a deal with the prosecution, and he later begins to tell the story, the gruesome story of how Enrique and Elijah both were killed. So the story unfolds in October of 2016. Elijah Moore is to be said to have robbed David Frost and I believe Shandell Shannon. And they state that he ends up getting away with 3 ounces of weed, and he was using a pellet gun to rob them at a KFC. My thing is, it's like 3 or 4 of y'all. One of y'all couldn't get him. You're like grown-ass men. These like 17-year-old. And I'm not saying that that takes away, but as I began to read the details, because they didn't really get too much details of how David Frost and Shannon and Jesus know Elijah, it just, to me, it was just like, but I guess whatever. So that's what he tells prosecution of how everything begins to unfold. He knows Enrique, so he begins to hit Enrique up on Facebook and invites him to a party. But little does Enrique know, this is nothing to do with the party. He basically demands that you're going to help me find Elijah. And little does he know, this is like his last faithful night. And that's the crazy thing about the story. These 2 friends both die 2 weeks from each other, and the gruesome manner that they die is like, for what? For 3 ounces of weed? You could, like, I get it, you got robbed, but 3 ounces of weed, friend? So Frost demands Enrique to get out of the car. They end up traveling all the way down to Sacramento River, right? And Enrique is terrified. He's petrified because he doesn't know what's going on. He's thinking that he's trying to find his friend. So as Enrique tries to run away, he was shot in the torso, in the back, and then again in the back of the head. 17 days later, Frost and his crew end up finding Elijah at a barbershop. He had just gotten paid, and he was going to deposit his check into his bank account. Frost begins to demand to Elijah, take off your shoes, give me your phone, and get in the trunk. He drives where he took Enrique. This is where Elijah's life becomes to an end. And it's so sad because Jonathan tells how Elijah basically was begging for his life, saying, you know, tell my mom I love her. Like, who would want to hear that in the courtroom as a mother or aunt or just a friend, period, or just being in the courtroom at all? I couldn't imagine that. Before killing him, he zip ties his hands and his feet. Frost tells Elijah that this is where your friend is buried. Can you imagine? You're about to die and then someone says, oh, this is where your friend is buried. And he also tells him that this is where you will be buried too. Elijah was bludgeoned to death and both bodies were also burnt and buried out there near the Sacramento River. So David Frost was found guilty. I did not see how many years he got yet, but like I said previously, his brother did take a plea deal. So his brother made a deal with prosecutors and he will be serving 15 years to life in the kidnapping and in his testimony. Shandell Shannon was found incompetent to stand trial. So he faced a hearing in October 12th and to determine if he is suitable to stand in trial, meaning this year, y'all. And the last one, Jesus Champios, of course, he returns to court January 3rd, and he also faces murder and kidnapping charges. So he was fit to stand trial, Shandell Shannon. And Shandell basically states that he was just a witness that didn't call the police. Sir, whatever. I get it. You're friends. I ain't going down for my friends. I don't care. Especially not no murder. I ain't going down for it. Sorry. Sorry, but not sorry. Your ass on your own. But he was already in jail for previous crimes anyway. So honestly, didn't matter anyway. You're a liar anyway. It just, the simple fact that all of this could have been avoided. But so that is pretty much Enrique Rios and Elijah Moore's story. I really hope that their family finds some type of justice in this all, knowing that all four individuals will be facing some type of judgment. I mean, 15 years is really nothing for Jonathan Frost, but it's like, at this point, it's like, what can you really say? I do know he tried to tell police that where the bodies were, but I don't think they have had any luck of finding Enrique and Elijah yet. Nonetheless, it's truly sad. 2 lives gone, 2 short lives gone very quickly. Excuse me. So that is Enrique and Elijah's story, guys, and I will see you in day 13.